What's up YouTube? My name's Kyle, and today I'm going to show you what I bought today, which was pretty sweet. I'll show you the box here. It is a cold air intake for my 2015 F150 from K&N. So it should be pretty nice to put on. Should see some nice gains from it. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the installation process. I'm not going to do it kind of step by step. I'm just kind of show you the stock and then show you after it's done and kind of give you my thoughts as far as what I like and didn't like about it. But anyways, here's kind of what the stock engine bay looks like. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll give you a little bit of a sound profile here. So let's see if I can mount my phone somewhere here so you can kind of, might be looking at the ceiling, but at least you'll get the sound of it. So as you can tell, it doesn't sound very good. It just kind of sounds like a lawnmower. So hopefully with the new intake, that'll change. Stay tuned. I'll let you guys know kind of what happens in a minute here. Alright, so I got it all installed. And this is the end product here. So you can see that it's all new filter, all new piping, all the way to the turbos. I would say the installation went pretty good. The instructions are a little vague, I'll say, but overall, as long as you have a general idea as far as what you're doing, it's not really all that difficult to install. So I would say it took me probably, I bet you about a half hour, 45 minutes to put in. And that's with kind of reading and understanding the directions as much as possible. But at any rate, like I said, as long as you have a general idea as far as how some of these systems work, it's really not that hard to put in. The hardest part was actually putting the trim around the edges of the airbox to make it look halfway decent. So, but at any rate, I'll give you another little rev test here. I can tell you that as soon as I started it up, I noticed an immediate difference in sound. I don't know how much it's going to do for performance, but we'll see. I mean, you can hear the turbo spool up a lot faster. So, anyways, this is the sound. Again, you're going to be looking at like the roof or the hood of the truck, but you'll be able to listen to it and get the general idea. So, here we go. So as you can tell, there's a pretty large difference in the way it sounds. I'll get together a little road test here and do a few performance runs with it, and I'll let you know in just a couple of moments here as far as what it's like to drive with it on. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm out doing a road test with the new filter on, and I have to say that it is light years ahead of what it was stock. I did a couple of 0-60 runs with it. It's kind of hard to film it and do it at the same time because I don't have a nice setup for it. I'm just using a cell phone. But, here, I'll pull up the windows here so you guys can probably hear me. But one thing that I noticed was that it spools up a lot faster, and when the boost hits, it really hits. So you can basically burn the tires off from a standstill. Not that you couldn't do that before, but it just seems like when the boost builds and hits, it hits a lot faster and harder than what it was when it was stock. So I like that. The other thing that's really cool about this is that you can hear the turbos spool up, and then you can hear the blow-off valve too. I know you don't really get much of a performance benefit for the blow-off valve, but it sounds cool. I know a lot of guys do the VTA mod where they just run open tubes, and I don't know if I necessarily like that idea, especially with having an expensive brand new truck. You know, people put rubber caps on the outlets and secured with either a zip tie or something, or a little hose clamp. And more than likely it's probably just fine, to be honest, but I don't want to run that risk with my truck. Cool thing is with the cold air intake is that you don't have to do that. You don't have to run that risk because you can hear the blow valve through the filter, which is pretty neat. So I really like that. As far as some other just general updates, as long as I'm doing a video here, so I have a little over 12,000 miles on the truck now, and it's been running just absolutely perfect, like a dream. One thing that I did do just for a little security, because I know a lot of guys with the 3.5 Ecoboosts had some issues where they were getting condensation from, you know, long trips, and when they would get on it either while they're towing or getting onto the highway, they would have like a misfire. And that misfire is caused because there's water in the air exchanger, which basically when you suck in water, it's going to make the truck misfire. Essentially, you're not burning fuel, you're trying to burn water, and water doesn't burn. So what I did was I drilled a little 1/16 inch hole in one of the bottommost corner of the air exchanger to relieve some of that water. Now, when I did it on mine, the 2.7s haven't been known to have that issue, but I did it just as a fail-safe, just to be a little, you know, err more on the side of caution. And I can tell you that nothing really came out. There's a little bit of oily residue, but there wasn't any water or any like murky fluid type stuff in there. Just a little bit of oily residue, which is fine by me. That small little 1/16 inch hole that I drilled in the plastic, yeah, it's a boost leak, but it's such a small hole that you're not gonna notice anything with mileage or performance. So I did it anyhow, and that seems to be working out pretty well for me so far. I did that probably about 6,000 miles ago, so I haven't had any issues, no check engine lights, none of that stuff. But I will say I really like this new intake. This truck just keeps surprising me. Just a small thing like that really livens up the truck. If you're on the fence of getting one, I can tell you for $250, K&N filter, cold air intake, it's worth it. You know, you do get a nice performance increase in it. Is it huge? No, but you know, on the box or in the instructions that they give you, it does say that you get about 20 horsepower and 34 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know if it's quite that much, but I'll say that the torque hits a lot lower in the RPM band. When I was doing my 0 to 60 runs, I did one where it was just, you know, kind of stopped and floored it and to see kind of what happened, and it went, you know, I mean, it's no slouch by any means. But when I stopped and did the brake torque, you know, did a little bit of brake torque to get a boosted launch. When it was stock, you could go pretty much to about 2,500 RPMs before the tires would actually start to break loose, and, you know, where with the new intake, it's about 2,000 RPMs. So, you know, maybe that extra 34 foot-pounds of torque is coming in at a lower band, which if it is, that's really neat. I like that. But I like it a lot so far. You know, it sounds cool, looks cool underneath the hood, and got some decent performance out of it. For $250, I think it's well worth it if you're considering doing it. Like I said, the installation took me about half hour, 45 minutes, and that was going through following the directions bit by bit, not just kind of going in and diving in. I'm sure if I would have just went in and dived into it, I probably could have done it a little bit faster. But overall, easy installation, nice results, and it was fairly inexpensive. I'd say it's a worthy bolt-on that if you want a little more performance out of your truck and you don't want to spend a ton of money, this is definitely the way to do it. So if you guys have any questions, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Take care.